What's up, Budget Wargamers? We're back, and we've got another edition here where we want to talk about the new Nighthaunt forces for Age of Sigmar. They'll be coming out with the new edition. But before we get started, I wanted to thank some of the new subscribers that have joined the channel. We just finally hit exactly 500 subscribers, so I want to give thanks back to those people who have already signed up and are watching my videos. Thanks to all you guys. We've picked up quite a few new people over the weekend. And a few of those, apologies to those I don't get to, but YouTube doesn't always show me every single new person that subscribed. But we had the Darth Fluffy that joined in there. Thank you very much there. Michael Margerson, I may have butchered the last name. I apologize. Scrolling through the list here. Let's keep going for a few more. Rodrigo Ribeiro, thank you very much. Jeffrey Hammond and Willens Imperium. So, first order of business. We've got to give something away for reaching 500 subscribers. Yeah, giving it away. What? Yeah, so we're giving away from Corvus Belli. We haven't talked about this game very much, but this is Infinity. So, have you guys seen this game before? What I want you guys to do is we're going to take the next 2 weeks to try to grow this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, at which time we'll give away an even bigger prize that I've got here to show you guys an example. So this is our 500 subscriber giveaway. If you guys want to check that out, this ranges about, I think the retail price on this is about $48 US, and it's a starter set for the army, the Aleph army, particularly the Steel Phalanx faction. So, you know, you'll get these pewter miniatures, highly detailed stuff. Definitely, if you've got some painting skills, this is a challenging type of army. Definitely a challenging type of game to get into, but this will get your feet wet with that game. So what I want you to do to be eligible to win this is I want you guys to not only, of course, like my videos as always, but you got to be subscribed and you got to comment below that you want this box. So comment that you want the Steel Phalanx. There won't be that many of you, so there's a good chance you're going to win this. And then we will send this out to you here shortly after. But I'm going to keep this open for the next 2 weeks, so in any of my new videos, make sure you mention the Steel Phalanx. Each new video that you mention it in will give you another chance to win this one. So I want to buy your loyalty with some interesting models. And then here's what I want to do for 1,000 subscribers. So 1,000 is going to be a big deal for me. It's going to be when I can start to monetize this channel with YouTube, which means that I'll have a revenue stream coming in to help fund some of this hobby goodness. And what I'd like to do for that for you guys, since most of what we talk about here is Games Workshop related, I'll give you some choices. And just to illustrate those choices here, you can have these exact things or something of your choosing that's similar, but you could choose a Start Collecting box. So this one here is the Start Collecting Necrons box. I won't hold you guys to it because only so many of you will actually want to play Necrons. This also happens to be the out of print box, so if you want this one, just let me know. But we'll be giving that one away when we reach 1,000 subscribers as one of the options. So if you want to play Stormcast Eternals, you want to play anything else that's got one of those $85 Start Collecting boxes, probably won't see anybody taking up on Demons, but that would be one of your choices. The other choice would be either No Fear. So this is the $80 two-player starter set. It's like the medium-sized starter set for Warhammer 40,000. It's got enough in there for 2 players to get started with the game. And it's like a Dark Imperium Light is a good way to do it, but it's got the colored plastics in there. Or I'll do the Blood and Thunder from Age of Sigmar if you'd rather have Age of Sigmar stuff, because it's the same value. And that also comes with colored plastics for the Khorne and Stormcast. So that's some potential chance to get in on a big one. We'll announce how you're going to be able to participate in that one as we get closer to the 1,000 subscribers. So stay tuned for it. Again, I want to buy your guys' affection with that, but hopefully we'll hang out and talk about some cool hobby stuff. So let's dive in and let's talk about what's going on with Age of Sigmar. So we've got the Nighthaunt, and this is a new faction that was recently announced from Games Workshop, and this is presumably going to come out after the new edition of Age of Sigmar is launched, but now that we know that the battle tomes that are already in existence for all the existing Age of Sigmar armies aren't going to the wayside, they're not going to be wasted, so we're going to be able to continue to use those. The Nighthaunt is another death army, so this is something of Nagash's doing. So he has had big plans for us, and this is like the most ghostly army that you can get into. It's not necessarily vampirish. It's not really skeletons. It's not mummies, things like that. If you remember back in the day, you had mummies. They were flammable, so fire attacks caused extra wounds to them. But the Nighthaunt is more of the ghostly stuff. So there's a lot of new models coming out here. And I personally played Undead for a while back in Warhammer Fantasy. It wasn't my first army. Bretonnians were my first army. So whatever, I think it was 5th edition that Bretonnians came out. That's right when I got into Warhammer. But shortly thereafter, I got into putting together all those tiny little plastic skeletons. And man, were they a pain in the butt, and they broke all the time. What I think is, we still have a fragile army here with the different flying units and stuff with the ethereal units, but I think they're going to be a lot easier to put together, a lot less fragile than just skeletons. But so they're saying here that spirit hosts are worth their weight in gold. Well, they don't weigh a whole lot, but gold is certainly valuable. But it says that spirit hosts are going to be making up the bulk of your army. So that they must be one of your battle line choices in Age of Sigmar when it comes to the new Nighthaunt army. But there's a lot of cool, and so we've seen these guys before. They've been out for a while. So I guess if you might want to start stocking up on those if you're anxious of getting started on building up your Nighthaunt. But here's some of the new units. So we've got the Chain Rasp Hordes, and these are going to be other guys here. It says more often than not, the souls find their way to Nagash are somewhat middling quality. So these poor schmucks who weren't good enough to be reborn as Stormcast Eternals or evil enough to dedicate themselves to chaos gather together in vast, unhappy hordes. And these souls are eternal prisoners of Nagash. So I don't know if this is just going to be a 3-man box set or if this is just to depict 3 of what could be a 10-person box, but presumably these are also going to be quite a bulky unit that you're going to have a lot of in your army. So it says they do the binding of the Grand Necromancer. So then you've got also Glaive Wraith Stalkers. So it says Nagash has a twisted sense of justice, and each member of the Nighthaunt is shaped to reflect their crimes in a previous life. The Glaive Wraith Stalkers were those who hunted men for sport and pleasure. Now they still work as huntsmen, drifting slowly and unstoppably towards their quarry, pursuing them for months or even years if they have to. So it's a punishment from Nagash. So this is presumably going to be another unit, and it's going to be kind of hard to tell these guys apart. You're going to have a whole host of people just kind of levitating off their bases, but what you do have here is probably one of the easiest to paint armies in all of Age of Sigmar, because especially with the new technical paints that are going to come out, those are going to help you create those ethereal glows that are so integral to making these people look as if they're kind of materializing out of thin air. Then we have the Grimghast Reapers. These are the souls of schemers, plotters, assassins, and those who murdered through subterfuge in their former lives. So Nagash has punished these guys by turning them into frenzied, indiscriminate murderers, blind to their foe and attacking with wild, unfocused slashes. So they have their eyes or eye sockets covered up, but these guys are kind of like Grim Reapers running around the battlefield. Now this guy looks like he's going to do a lot of damage. This is the Lord Executioner, and he's even got the gallows strapped to his back. So it says in their former lives, Lord Executioners were hangmen and headsmen who knowingly dispatched the innocent or simply enjoyed their work a little too much. So they were bad executioners that did it for the sport of killing people. So he now employs them in the permanent service to ensure none escape the justice. And these guys seem more like they would be a standalone character, although we don't know for certain. And then the Guardian of Souls seems like another standalone character, and he is the first for Nighthaunt. He's a wizard, and the Guardian of Souls acts like a lure light for the rest of the Nighthaunt, drawing them towards living prey. So he's kind of bringing moth to a flame, so to speak, and drawing your Nighthaunts out there. So he may also be able to summon them, potentially. We don't know his rules either. This is the first model from the Nighthaunt that I've been able to get my hands on the rules here that we'll see in just a moment. This is the Knight of Shrouds, and it's a flying knight on an ethereal horse. So it says we get to check out the new mounted Knight of Shrouds. And let's see here. He's oh wait, this is a different one. So we don't have his rules. It's actually Spirit Torment, which is a different model. So the Spirit Torment we can kind of barely see there, but the Spirit Torment here, it says it's a masked creature, and then it goes over its stat lines. It's got the ability, some special abilities. Ethereal is a really interesting one, and presumably this entire army is going to have this special rule given the way they look, and it basically gives you invulnerable saves. It says that these creatures whose body's there, blah, 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 but ignore modifiers positive or negative, so you can't boost up their save when making save rolls for this model. So that's pretty cool. And then there's quite a few more models previewed in this Age of Sigmar teaser video. We'll turn it up so you guys can kind of hear it.
Precious sons and daughters of the Storm God. And until now, we have allowed it. We have permitted this most grievous transgression.
There we go.
How, pray tell, have you repaid our mercy? With contrition?
So there's quite a few new models in there.
With gratitude? Hearken, all of you, to the tolling of funeral bells. Heed the wailing of the mournful dead. The realm of Shaiish teems with the spirits of the freshly slain. Scions of Sigmar, forged in thunder! You fight for a thief, a usurper! You leave stolen lives ripped from the rightful clutches of the God of the dead! Your souls are ours! By scythe or by shrieking spell, by blade or by banshee's cry, the dead will have what we are owed.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard that, but that's one of the creepiest sounding videos they've ever come up with. Lock up the kids. Definitely time to put them to bed after something like that. Give them some nightmares. But the Warhammer community team's definitely doing a great job of drumming up a lot of interest in this. But there's been some other teasers, but as you saw through the video, there's a new black coach. That's a model of which I used to have the old computer one. We saw some other models of which weren't necessarily teased here in this video. Those are just Hex Wraiths. That's Nagash. This guy's been out for a while. We saw some of these models being mentioned in the yeah, so there's a larger unit of those 3 that we were talking about earlier. It looks like that's 10 of them, so they're presumably going to come in a box of 10. But there were some other models in there that we saw that probably weren't mentioned in here, and there was a 360 degree of the Spirit Torment in there, and just other various types of models. So definitely one of the more interesting things to come out lately. A lot of great stuff, man. If you saw my live video yesterday, whether you watched it live or after the fact, this is definitely probably the biggest year ever for Games Workshop. But definitely comment below. Say you want the Steel Phalanx. I want my MTV. Whatever you got to do. We're going to be giving this bad boy away for now that we've reached 500. So stay tuned. And in the next 2 weeks, you guys will be eligible to win that one. And then we're going to be giving away either one of the little half-C starter sets for your choice of either Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000, or one of the Get Started, Start Collecting boxes for a faction of your choice, whether it's 40K or Age of Sigmar. So not both of them, but one of those types of things will be given away for you guys. And if you want one of the ones I've got here, that's great, because then I don't have to go out and buy one. But it's high time we start kicking this into high gear, start doing some more videos about Warhammer and other great hobby games. So stay tuned to Budget Wargamer.